welcome to the Fighting Forecast. This is our first video discussing fighting predictions. I'm Alex here.
Dylan, and we're talking about UFC 257 McGregor Poirier card today.
Yeah, it's a really great card. First one we're going over. Just figured this is a good time to start it. There's just so many really great fights here. We got obviously McGregor versus Poirier rematch, long time coming, as well as Michael Chandler's UFC debut, Bellator guy over there, lightweight champion, super tough dude. But that's all in the main event. So before we get to that, we got quite a few fights to go through. The first fight of the night is actually going to be Amir Albazi versus Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Holy cow. They're coming into this one, both bantamweights with really stellar records. Amir Albazi is 13-1. Zhalgas is 13-4. Looks like, as of right now, Zhalgas is a slight favorite, but it's pretty much a pick'em. What are your thoughts on this fight, Dylan?
I think it's going to be a really close fight. I like the odds. I think they're accurate. I would have to say I've got Albazi. I'm a little surprised that he's not a favorite or that it is just dead even. I think that it'll probably go to decision. I could see Zhalgas surviving all 3 rounds, and I just really am going to stay away from this one myself.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I have it the same way. I mean, I have Albazi by decision as well, but just like a slight edge to him. I think he's got really good stuff going on for him. Like really great in the ground, great transitions, good submissions. But I mean, he was doing that. Like I think his last fight was against Malcolm Gordon. I don't know if you saw that one, but he smoked him, right? And he came in on short notice. He destroyed him. But like, I don't think Malcolm Gordon is nearly on the level of Zhalgas, even close.
Yeah, this is his test. Yeah. I mean, the first fight on a huge card, so it's not going to be easy for him.
I completely agree. And Zhalgas, he's fought some good dudes himself. I think they're just really trying to see here where the UFC is trying to see, like, these are two up-and-coming guys. They're both young. I think Albazi's like 24, and I think Zhalgas is 25. So both really young. And it's kind of like, I guess, that fight last week. What was it? Todorovic versus, I'm going to butcher his name.
Yeah, Soriano.
Yeah. And it's like that kind of situation, I think, where it's like these two good dudes. They're both really great records, and they're trying to see who's going to really make the cut here in the bantamweight division. But, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Slight edge Albazi, but I'm also going to be staying away. I'm just going to watch the first fight and enjoy it. Just do that. I don't like it. So, and then for the next one, I mean, I'm the complete opposite, but the next one is actually going to be Nick Lentz versus Maspar Evelev. These guys are fighting at catchweight. I think this is because Nick Lentz was usually fighting at lightweight. I don't think he could actually make the weight here. So he agreed to fight him at 145. Nick Lentz is a massive underdog. He's got a massive record, too. I think he's like 35 years old, so he's been in the UFC for about...
he's 36.
36, oh my gosh. And he's been in the UFC for a decade?
On the edge, yeah.
He's been in here forever. I mean, a veteran, but I mean, I don't know. I saw Evelev's last fight, or Evelev's...
Yeah, his first fight was in 2009, in the UFC, that is.
Gosh.
UFC 103.
Wow. So he's been there for a hot minute. I know there's at least a 10-year separation between these two guys. Lentz has got a pretty good record despite that. He's 30-11, and I think he's got 2 draws. Evelev is one of probably the better prospects in the featherweight division. That's normally where he fights at comparatively to this. And he's 13-0, and he's really solid. As I said, the odds are pretty skewed. We got Nick Lentz at plus 340 as of right now, and Evelev's at minus 440. I mean, yeah. What do you think about that? Shoot.
It's rough, but I think they're close to accurate. Unfortunately, I don't see any way for Nick Lentz to win this. Yeah. I just don't see it. I'll probably advise a bet on Evelev. I just think that it's worth that big price tag even.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be wondering to see what I mean, I can't imagine the decision prompt for him is very good. I mean, that's how I see it. I think he's going to grind him out in the decision, just kind of just outpace him every single round. And just completely dominate him. I haven't seen, obviously, in the UFC, I don't think he's ever won except for by decision. And I don't see
Yeah.
a ton of power from anything too crazy on any of those spectrums, like one of those crazy submission guys or crazy powerhouses. But he's just really solid. I feel like throughout his entire game. I mean, and then Nick Lentz. I mean, I think this is a different fight. If he wasn't fighting Evloev, I think there's a lot of positions where he could be a favorite himself. So I don't see him getting dropped. I don't see him getting subbed. I think he's only been finished by Charles Oliveira, who we just saw him mess up Tony Ferguson like really bad, and that's the only guy who's beaten him in terms of actually being finished. So I don't think he's gonna get finished in this fight, but I don't think he'll get on the cards. I don't think the judges are gonna go in his favor. I think Evloev is just gonna really outpace him, and he's got great kicks, great takedowns, great ground game.
And I don't know that the catch weight will benefit Nick Lentz at all. I think that if anything, Evloev has to worry a little bit less about the day leading up to the fight, and he'll be even more relaxed and ready.
I couldn't agree more, and I think just my main thing with Evloev, despite that, I think he's just an absolute gamer, and I mean that in the sense of like he's obviously he's there to win, but he's obviously trying to finish, but he knows what it's going to take if it gets to that point, and he's going to make it happen. I just really I can't see another way. I think like you said, the odds are really good. It's a really safe bet. It's not. I mean, you're not going to cash the bank on that one if you do that straight up, and maybe like some parlays or something. Yep. I mean, I feel like he's a safe piece. I just can't see another way but that.
Yeah.
And maybe the decision prop. I mean, I don't think it's going to be super great, but
yep.
I think it's still a good one.
I think the over 2.5 is it's at -270, but if you're not liking the -445, I think that's a really solid look, because I don't see this going to. I don't see a finish coming out of this fight, even if they fought 10 times.
Yeah, 100.
I just don't see it.
1,000. Yeah, I don't either. It's just one of those fights where I think it's one of those ones where it's going to go the full 15 and it's going to be a bloodbath. I mean, I think Nick Lentz, obviously with that much experience and stuff, he's got a lot of scar tissue. He's going to bleed and it's going to be nasty. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, I think he's going to lose. And that's
I think it's another out with the old, in with the new fight that we've been seeing recently.
Yeah, a ton of that, and I couldn't agree more with you. All right, moving on. We got a very different fight here. We got two guys who really we haven't seen them fight in a while. They don't fight too much. At middleweight, we got Andrew Sanchez, as well as going up against him is going to be Makhmud Muradov. Sanchez is 13-5. Muradov is 24-6. I mean, tons more experience on Muradov's side, but both. I mean, fighters have been here for a while. What's your take on it?
Muradov is more experienced, but this will only be his third fight in the UFC, so I think that it's hard to gauge how valuable that record is. It's going to be a close fight. Andrew Schultz is not going to be easy. He's been in the UFC about twice as long, so he kind of knows what to expect a little more, but I don't know. It's good. I think I would have to lean Muradov, but I'm not confident in it.
Yeah, this is I'm leaning the other way, but it's like I think probably about as much as you are. I'm leaning Sanchez, but it's like it's one of those situations where it's like you have to put a gun to my head and be like, hey, pick. You know what I mean? Like I
you don't want to, but
I have to pick. I have to pick somebody, and I'm gonna pick him. And not confident in either of these guys, but yeah, gun to my head.
Yeah, I think the best win condition for Sanchez is to go to the ground and try to keep him there as much as he can. I don't see him winning a striking match, but who knows?
You never know. You never know, and I think that's why these odds are so close. It's just so hard to predict this one, and for that reason, I don't know about you. It sounds like you're in this boat as well. You're staying away. Yeah,
stay away.
Stay away. Like I think this might be the one I'm the least confident in. If not, it's maybe the second least. It's just these guys haven't fought in so long, and it's tough to tell. It's really tough to tell, but I'm going Sanchez.
I would have to agree with you.
You're gonna go Muradov, but I mean either way, it's gonna be interesting. I'll just say that. Moving on to the next fight. So looks like we got.
The
Oh yeah,
prelims.
next. This is the end. This is in the prelims now. Oh my gosh, that's
Yep.
so fast. Oh my gosh, so many fights. Holy cow. The first one here in the prelims is going to be Khalil Rountree versus Marcin Prachnio, I believe is how you pronounce that. Khalil Rountree is 9-4 and he's got a no contest. Marcin is 13-5. Khalil Rountree a 3-1 favorite here pretty much. I mean a little over -330 and Prachnio is a +255 underdog. So what's your take on this, Dill?
I'm definitely Khalil Rountree Jr. knockout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't really see it any other way,
Yeah.
honestly. Based on Marcin's last couple of fights, uh, I I don't think this is going to be a pretty fight.
No.
I think it might not last long
No,
either.
I couldn't agree more. I'm taking Roundtree first round KO, probably a nasty left hand. He's just absolutely so fast, so powerful. And I was looking over the fights I was talking to you about as well. It's like he Marcin Prachnio was on a 3-fight losing streak. All three of those fights he lost by knockout. Two of them in the first round. One of them was like very, very early in the second round, and it's just he's a guy who I was looking into him, and he was really good on like the regional scene and stuff like that. But just in terms of what I've seen in him in the UFC and just watching his fights, it's like how is he still here? Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, three super fast knockouts in a row as soon as he enters the UFC, and it just not it does not look good for him in this one. I couldn't agree with you more on that. Like, jeez.
Yeah. Roundtree -330 as of right now, and I don't see that changing much. I think he might even go
Yeah.
up. I think more money's going to come in on Roundtree if anything. Um, it's a -150 for under 1.5, so I think a lot of people are thinking this is going to be a one-way quick fight.
Yeah, and Cutelaba, wow, excuse me. Roundtree is coming off a loss to Ion Cutelaba, which I'm maybe familiar with him. I think his nickname is like the Hulk or something like that. Crazy dude, powerhouse, really good wrestler. He messed him up like real bad. But that guy's on a really really high level too, and I think this is the UFC kind of try to. I think they have faith in Roundtree in being successful, and I think this is almost like one of those fights where they're like, hey, here's something a little easy for you. Here's something to kind of win your confidence back and just get him to a point where he's back in the game a bit. And that's just how I see it. I just don't. I mean, I look at it. I'm like, why would they do this? This doesn't make sense to me. Like, but that's after thinking about it for a bit. Yeah, I think it's the UFC just kind of try to give him an ego boost after a big loss to someone who's really really phenomenal. But that's my take on it, and I'm the same with you on that. First round KO, and if not first round, I mean early second. It's not gonna last long. No, not in my opinion.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy one though. I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for it.
Mhm.
Moving on to the next one. So we got Julianna Pena versus Sara McMann, which both legends here of the bantamweight division. Sara McMahon's been here forever. Julianna Pena was a huge up and comer, tough winner. Her record for Julianna Pena is going to be 10-4 coming into this one, and Sara McMann is going to be 12-5. There's a slight edge on Sara McMann. She's a -125 favorite, and Julianna Pena is a -105 underdog. Interesting fight. What's your thoughts on it, Dylan?
I think it's going to be really close. I think, regardless of who wins, it's going to decision. It's definitely a weird one. Pena's coming off a loss from Jermaine Randamine.
Yeah.
Currently the number 2 ranked. 2 fights before that, she was fighting against Shevchenko. So she's seen real good fighters recently. It's just the question of can she finish a fight or can she win for 15 minutes straight? Because she hasn't really shown that she can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the sad thing. Like, I mean, I'm a huge Julianna Pena fan and have been ever since she was on The Ultimate Fighter. I remember telling you about her. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so awesome. She's so awesome. And I mean, I had her in that randomie fight even up until the end. I mean, she had that crazy sub, and she was winning that fight in my opinion. I mean, I think you could look at either way. Maybe randomie is winning slightly. It just depends on your opinion, really. But it's close, and she just slips into this nasty guillotine by randomie, who's not even really known for that. And it's brutal to see because it's like, yeah, there's just so much hype on her, and there has been since I feel like her Ultimate Fighter season was like 2015 or 2016 maybe. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it was within recent
2013.
Oh man, it's even longer. I know she was so young. She's got to be in her early 30s now, but she came into that like 23, 24 maybe. Miesha Tate, prodigy, if you will. She's from same gym as her, and then I guess Miesha Tate was the other captain opposite of Ronda Rousey, and obviously she picked on her team, and she won the whole thing, and like won it so easily. It was insane. She just murdered everybody straight up. And I had her in the randomie fight, but I'm at this point, I'm like, I don't know if the hype's really there anymore. I just can't blindly go into it anymore. Yeah. It's tough for me, and that's even tough saying like I don't have her in this fight. I got McMann by decision, and she's 40 years old, like, and I got her to win. And she's fought some good people. I mean, she's fought Jessica, Lauren Murphy, Rousey, Nunes. She's fought tons of really good people. I mean, she's no joke, but she's 40 years old. But yeah, I just I want to bet on her. I want to believe in it, but this is kind of the fight for me where I'm going against her, and maybe she'll win and prove me wrong, and that I would love it either way. So
yeah, that would be nice. I agree. Yeah, I've got to go Sara McMann. I mean, if anything, I think it's just because she's more proven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, way more. I mean, she's been in those spots. I mean, she's fought the best, and she's done it. She's been there, done that. Pena's, we're still kind of waiting. We're still kind of waiting for her.
Yeah.
And then, fun thing, I guess I mean, maybe you don't know, but McMahon's coach is actually Uriah Faber, which I think that's some crazy stuff. I mean, legend of the sport, which is like that. I mean, having that guy in your corner is like, that's so invaluable. That's so invaluable to have. So
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I'm going McMann here. I'm as well. I'm definitely tentative on it. I mean, I'm more confident in it than the Sanchez and the Muradov fight. But yeah, I gotta go with McMann.
Stay away.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch it and see what happens and send my positive energy to Julianna Pena.
If anything, over 2.5 is a safe bet. So it seems.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I don't. Yeah.
Other than that, stay away.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Pena finish anybody. McMann, I mean, she's 40, so she's not what she was 10 years ago. Like, that's a huge. That's like, yeah. I mean, it's like saying like, is Tom Brady the same as he was when he was 30? It's not the same.
No.
All right. So moving on to the next fight here, we got Brad Tavares versus Antonio Carlos Jr. Fight on the middleweight division here. Brad Tavares has a record of 17-7. Carlos Jr. is 11-4 and 1 no contest. What do you think about this one, Bill?
I think this is a good matchup. I think it's going to be a real close fight. It's a tough one to call, but I think I've got to go with Antonio Carlos. I think he should take it to the mat, and I think he should keep it there. Brad Tavares' striking is scary. If I was him, I just wouldn't try to test it. So I'm Carlos Jr. on this one.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I'm not confident about this one either. Carlos Jr., I mean, one of the big things I think he has going for him is he's a lot bigger, reach and height-wise. He's just a bigger guy. And then, in anything, being a bigger dude tends to be an advantage in these situations. I mean, unless it's like that, what was it, Darius Wynn fight versus Arroyo?
Yeah, Wynn, Arroyo.
In that case, the small guy wins. But but he does have an advantage here, and that's definitely, these are not the same guys. But I like him here. He's the Ultimate Fighter winner for the Ultimate Fighter Brazil. Really good dude there. I mean, both these guys' records are not they're not bad. I mean, but yeah, it is like you said. I think it's a really close one, and I'd have to slightly edge Carlos Jr. just because of his ground game, his submission ability. I don't think he's gonna finish him. Uh, I mean, I think anything can happen. Maybe it does. Who knows? I don't really see it. I think they're probably gonna stand and bang, but we'll see. I just know that that could be sketchy too for Tavares because I know he just got knocked out by what's his name, Shabayazin, real bad in his last fight.
First round knockout. Yeah. Before that, he went 5 rounds with Izzy, but that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. So. And just as much, I'm sure, as he isn't what he was then, Izzy is on another level now. Izzy is not even the Izzy that we see now 2 years ago. He was phenomenal, but like now Izzy's like, I mean, he's in cloud 9 now. Yeah. Different fighter for sure. So, yeah, I'm just like looking over my notes and oh my god, it's just I don't like it. I don't like it either way. This is just one where I can't really make an executive decision in terms of like laying any cheddar on this one. But yeah, gun to my head again. Yeah. Carlos Jr. I'll go decision. But
yeah, I think that this one, if anything's going to change my mind, it'll be weigh-ins. Yeah. I think if Brad Tavares comes to weigh-ins looking good, like he's ready to knock someone out, then he might persuade me. But other than that, I think Carlos Jr.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where like I mean I have to agree with you. It's like you got to. I mean I would even say like for me maybe even beyond weigh-ins, like I need to see them like get in the octagon and like see what their energy looks like. Like see if one of these guys looks a little bit a little off, and one of these guys just looks ready to go. I might even have to wait to that point and like make that not putting general or anything like that, but make that decision to be like fully committed at that moment. And it's just a tough one. And yeah, I'm staying away. I'm getting the heck out of there for sure. No, but it should be interesting. I mean, seeing these guys come back. I mean, they both fought some good dudes. I mean, we'll see what happens. So.
Yep.
All right. So we got for the next one here. We got Arman Tsarukyan, versus Nasrat Haqparast at lightweight. Yeah, they get harder as we go. Arman, he's coming in 15-2. Nasrat's coming in 12-3. So both guys, they're both younger as well. I believe Tsarukyan's a little bit younger than Nasrat, but both younger guys, up and comers. Really, really good records both. 12-3 and 15-2 are nothing to scoff at. Arman is a pretty big favorite here, actually. 2.5 to 1, minus 255 to Nasrat's plus 200. What are your thoughts on this one,
man? I think the odds are a little off on this one. I see it as a pretty close fight. I think the best way to look at this is look at both of their last few fights. 3 fights ago, Arman's fighting Islam Makhachev, who is probably going to see a title shot. You said yourself.
100%, I think, yes.
And 2 fights ago, Nasrat got knocked out in a minute by Drew Dober. So I got to go with Arman just because he seems like the better fighter to me.
Yeah.
Tough one to call.
Yeah, I definitely think this line is off. I don't think it's like, I don't think it's a 180 off. I mean, I think it's maybe a minus 170 plus 140 kind of off. Yeah, and that's this whole thing. Yeah, with Makhachev, like, and versus the Drew Dober situation, like I was saying to you earlier, it's like it's just so different because Arman went 3 rounds with him and he adjusted his game accordingly. Now, did he win the fight? No, but Makhachev's, like I said, he's probably gonna be maybe not necessarily champion, but he's gonna get a shot for sure at some point in his career.
He's already a contender.
Yeah, he's a contender. He's on another level than these two guys. He's just clearly on another level, right? He still put up a good fight. He tried as hard as he held a bunch of his takedowns, which he's so known for. He kept him fighting the whole time and didn't win, but he did a good job. Versus with Nasrat, he got absolutely sack of potatoes, big old dumpster, flat in the ground, done so easily. And the guy, he's not a slouch. I mean, he knocked out this guy Joaquin Silva super easily, really early into the second round. Showed good combinations going to that fight when I was watching it. I'm on your boat, man. I'm going Arman as well. I'm gonna go via decision. I'm pretty confident in it. But there's this slight little noise going off in my head that's saying Nasrat knockout. Nasrat knockout. Just maybe it'll happen.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that.
That prop is certainly going to be worth looking into.
It's gonna be juicy.
Considering he's also the underdog, it'll probably be big, and I could see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
This fight's going to be close.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think like you said that's an interesting prop to look at. We're both on the Arman side here, but if you are on the Nasrat side, that's probably gonna be pretty nice once that's out. I'm guessing it's gonna be around plus 400, and that's juicy.
Yeah.
And I think if he wins, that's the way he's gonna do it. And then, like you said, it's close. It's closer than it seems. I think it's probably like 60-40 Arman in my book. But it is wicked close. Yep. So, but we'll see what happens when it comes to it. I think it's gonna be a really fun fight. I mean, I think it's definitely fight night potential there. I mean, well, I guess not overall a couple other fights, but on a lot of cards, that would definitely potentially be a fight of the night. So I think it's gonna be good.
Yep. All right. And then we got the main card.
Main card. Here we go. So the first one in that, we got Mariana Rodriguez versus Amanda Ribas, and we got Mariana Rodriguez. She is 12-1-2. Ribas is 10-1, and this line is very wide as well. There's a lot of these. Rodriguez is a plus 255 underdog, and Ribas is a minus 315 favorite. What are your thoughts on this, Dill?
I definitely like Amanda Ribas here.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like the odds. I think they're a little too high, especially when you're dealing with two women who don't finish. But I think that Amanda Ribas is just a better fighter. I think she's going to control the octagon. I think she's going to win a unanimous decision.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think there's a lot of people that Mariana Rodriguez could fight and she'd easily be a favorite. I feel like there's so much of that in this card.
Absolutely.
There's just so many good people fighting good people, and with that, there comes a lot of this sort of like situations where you're like, wait, she's that much of an underdog? This is crazy. And I think a lot of that has to do with we talked about this before we started recording, but the Paige Van Zandt sub that she did so easily, but like. Paige Van Zandt's not in UFC anymore. She's doing bare knuckle boxing now. She looked like a can in that fight. She looked like she just didn't even care at all about anything. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm on your boat in terms of she should be a favorite for sure, but I think that very much kind of skewed these odds. For me, she's undefeated, man, in the UFC. That's huge. Her jiu-jitsu skills, I mean, I think we've talked about this before about other fighters, but like there are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts, and then there are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. Like the ones who, it's not just a title. These people can sub like no other, and I think she's one of those people. I honestly, I could see her subbing here. I think there is a possibility for her. I mean, as you mentioned, it's women's MMA. It doesn't happen a ton. If I were to say what I thought I was more confident in, I'd probably say a decision, but I do think she has a chance to sub here. Also, too, I don't know if you watched, because I know you're really high on Mackenzie Dern, but she fought Mackenzie Dern, I think the fight prior, and she absolutely dumpstered her. Standing, takedowns, takedown defense, everything. And Mackenzie Dern's really good. I mean, we saw her fight and have a really good win.
She's fighting near the top level of that division. So, yeah.
I just like that there, and I like that she's able to go through all those facets, whether it is the striking, whether it is the ground game, whether it is the jiu-jitsu. And I think her takedown defense is super, super nice, and that's important. And I was looking also, too, this is the other thing this is, I think, what really turned the corner for me, was I was watching the Carla Esparza fight with Rodriguez, and she just takes her, Carla Esparza, who, I mean, that's her whole job. She's one of those girls who's like, hold you on the mat type deal. But she just...
keep you there.
She had her so easily on the ground over and over again. She was trying for subs, she was trying for heel hooks, and like making herself vulnerable to be, taken over, and she still didn't do it. So if Amanda Ribas is smart, she'll go to the ground here, I think. but maybe they
Hmm.
stand and fight. I think she wins. She wins that way too. But yeah, I definitely see this as well with Amanda Ribas for sure. I
Yep.
definitely think so.
Yeah, I think this is a good parlay piece for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Definitely one of those ones where it's you're gonna feel pretty safe on that. They're both good, but you're gonna feel confident in that. And the line, yeah, it may be a little off, but yeah, we're both in agreement. It's her all day.
Yeah.
It's her all day, bro.
Yep. I think everyone's just kind of waiting for her to crack top 5, and it's expected as
Yeah,
well.
it's
So,
definitely, and that's why I mean I think they had to put her with someone like this here to like really kind of prove
mm,
she's beaten. I mean she beat Mackenzie Dern and stuff. She's beat some decent people, but yeah, this is definitely probably I think this is probably her toughest fight. But I still think the gap in skill is pretty phenomenal here, pretty wide.
yep.
All right, well we're both in agreement on that one. So moving on to the next one, we got Matt Frevola versus Ottman Azaitar at the lightweight division. They're fighting a second fight of the main card. Pretty close line here, which I think you and I both were really shocked about this.
Yep.
Very surprised. But Matt Frevola is a plus 130 underdog, and Ottman is a minus 160 favorite. Frevola's 8-1-1. Azaitar remains undefeated, 13-0. I think he's got 3 wins in the UFC, if that sounds right. Three. I think it's either 3 or 4. 3, 4, something like that. Either way, undefeated.
It's just 2.
2. All right, 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're the
2
guy who put me
wins.
onto Ottman. I hadn't actually even seen. I think I
Yeah.
probably was working or something one of those nights that he was on this last year, and I missed it. But you put me onto him, so I'll let you go ahead
Yep.
and
I'm
yeah.
big. I'm big on Ottman Azaitar, the bulldozer. I first saw him live, Watterson versus Hill card. He got a minute 30-second knockout against Kama Worthy, who's a tough fighter. And then I watched the fight before that. He got a 3.5 minute knockout with a beautiful overhand, slept the guy. And I don't think he's close to done yet. I think he's gonna be a real threat in this division. I think he looks extremely tactical, and I've just been really impressed with his fighting.
Yeah, I remember you showing me his older fights. That I had not seen them, and I mean, like I said, like I was saying, we've talked about this multiple times. But the lightweight division is so stacked. It's ridiculous how many good fighters are, and that this guy's not even ranked, and he's insanely good. And you watch him fight, and I think the biggest thing I noticed from him is probably his feints. He's just so good at it. He can make you go this way, that way, whatever, and he's gonna dictate, like you said. Like he's gonna totally control
Mm.
that. Not to mention, I mean, fast as hell, super strong. Every single one of his wins in the UFC is a first round knockout. I think almost every single one of his wins, period, is a first round knockout, if I'm not mistaken.
He has 10 knockouts, 2 submissions, and 1 decision to his name.
So 12 of 13 fights are finishes. 10 of those 13 are knockouts. That's insane. And I mean that's
Yeah.
maybe he's fighting some cans. Who knows? I mean, I didn't see him at the regional level, but like watching him in the UFC, it's like you're not fighting cans anymore. Really, not like that. Not the same.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I there are question marks about him for me. We talked about this like where it's like Sean O'Malley. My question marks with him. I love him. He's a great fighter, but we haven't seen him go 3 rounds. We haven't seen him really have to go against the guy who's got some serious takedowns. Right? These are questions for Ottman Azaitar, but for me, this isn't the guy who's going to provoke those questions, and we're just going to have to wait for another one to see what happens in those. I think he's definitely a really great wrestler. I was watching his fight against Luis Pena, and he literally picks him up by one leg up against the cage and like flips him over his back, and it's craziness. Of course, he gets drops right into a submission, and like he gets out of it, but like puts himself in a really vulnerable spot. The dude's tough as nails. He's got really great takedowns, but I don't think this is the guy who's gonna provoke those questions, man. I don't think so.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I think the line is off for sure. I mean, what would you even put it at? Like minus 300 Ottman, like minus 250 Ottman,
I don't know about 300. I think 250 is
250.
good. I think he's going to come out. I think the knockout prop is going to be something to look
Yeah,
into for
yeah.
sure. Um, I think the under 1.5 rounds is plus 120.
Hmm.
That's not bad.
Hmm. That's
Um,
juicy.
I just really don't see Azaitar losing. I really don't.
Yeah, it was crazy because it's like, I mean, I saw the lines, I was thrown off, but remember we were looking at it and like he was originally scheduled to be on the early prelims. And we're like, what is going on here? Like, this doesn't make any sense. This guy is like the epitome of what the UFC wants in a fighter. Someone who's going to create these highlight reel finishes.
Yep.
Someone who's going to get people excited to watch the sport. And I'm glad he's on the main
Yeah,
card.
I think there's a reason he made it on the McGregor pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's the real deal. I really do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. And you and I are both taking him. Definitely, I'm going first round knockout. You're just going knockout straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like that, and I'm really really excited to watch that fight. And I hope it's a really good one. You know, that knockout. I hope we get to see a really good knockout. So
Another highlight.
We'd love to see him. So now moving to a little bit less of an exciting fight.
Yeah.
A lot less exciting. We have Jessica Eye versus Joanne Calderwood. Both big names in the UFC in the women's flyweight division. Both super experienced, super well known. Jessica Eye, I'll just say their records, and you'll know they've been in so many. I mean, for women's division, there's so many fights. 15-8-1 for Jessica Eye. Joanne Calderwood is 14-5. They've both been in the UFC, I think, since origination of women's fighting in the UFC, 9 years or so. To pick them, as you might expect, just from like hearing those names.
As it should
Joanne
be.
Calderwood's a -120, Jessica Eye's a -110, so I mean like the slightest sprinkle of edge to Joanne Calderwood. But yeah, so I mean I don't know, man. Like what do you think about this one? Who you got?
This is another scary one. This is maybe the scariest of all.
Yeah.
Even. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what's gonna happen. If I had to guess, I would go Calderwood by decision. I think regardless it's going to decision. Yeah. I think there's no way this fight gets finished. If it does, I would say I guess Jessica Eye gets knocked out, but I still don't see it. Just staying away from this one.
Yeah, I don't much care for it either. I'm also going Calderwood decision. But even, I mean, I could easily go Jessica. I mean, it's one of those. It's crazy to think that. I mean, we were talking about this too, and you know, if you're on her page, you're looking at her right now. I mean, she was fighting Shevchenko. What was it, 2 years ago for the title? Like,
yeah.
Now in 2 years, it's like here we are here, and they're both ranked, but they're. I think she just lost to Cynthia Calvillo. She was ranked #1 and dropped her all the way to like 8th or 9th. She's just, I mean, on a downward spiral. I'm talking about, you know, Jessica Eye. I mean, and Calderwood, she just lost to Jennifer Maia and dropped huge there too. She got subbed really easily first round. Calvillo, like I was telling you, 5 rounds, easily got that one unanimous against Jessica Eye. It was just complete control the whole fight. And you know, obviously Jennifer Maia, she went up against Shevchenko and did a lot better than I think you or I or a lot of people thought she was going to do. Calvillo is also just a really, you know, strong staple in the flyweight division, and she's super talented. But this is just, they're both, I think, 34, 35, and they're just not what they used to be. And so that's what makes it so close. Both coming off losses, both pretty bad losses, and it's just tough to say. But I'll agree with you, and I'll say Calderwood by decision by the slightest of margins. Would I be shocked if Jessica Eye won? The judges made that happen. No, but
not at all.
I'm not leaving this up to the judges. I'm staying the heck away from it. Like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. But the next fight is much more interesting. So we'll move on. We're in agreement.
Yep.
Calderwood by decision. But this is exciting. So as I mentioned earlier, as I'm sure you know, I mean, pretty much everyone is aware. Michael Chandler is making his UFC debut finally. Super exciting. He's going up against Dan Hooker, who's just an incredible fighter at the lightweight division as well. The line actually flipped on this. I believe when I looked at it the first time, I think that Hooker was like a -160, maybe a -155, somewhere along those lines. I mean, not a massive favorite, but it was a favorite. And it's switched now. You got Michael Chandler coming in at -125 and Hooker almost at plus money at -105 here. Yeah, well, I mean, this is a super exciting fight, but what do you think about it,
Dylan? I don't know what to think, man.
Yeah.
I don't like to do it, but I got to go with Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
I think that he's got a lot to prove on his first fight. I think he's not going to be taking any chances, and I think he's going to drag Hooker down to the mat and kind of have his way with him down there. But I'm really rooting for Hooker. I love how he fights. I love his striking. He's a great guy. I wanted to see him win, but I think he's got a really, really tough opponent here.
Yeah, I have to. I mean, I'm leaning the other side of this, but like, this is just such a good fight, and these guys are both so good. But I am in the same mindset of you of like, yeah, I mean, I really do want to see Dan Hooker win this. Like, it definitely frustrated me when we were watching the Habib Gaethje card, and he's Michael Chandler's waiting around like, oh, hope I can get the title shot. Like, it's like he's got to earn a little bit here, and I think Hooker is a good one for him because obviously Michael Chandler is no joke. You shouldn't start him at like unranked. He should be fighting against really good people, but I do think this matchup is really good. I think it's smart by Dana. I think you and I were talking about this earlier. I wonder. I think they really want him to win on his UFC debut, and I think maybe they're trying to do that favorable matchup, like you said, where it's the wrestling and the ground control of Chandler just kind of swings him over the edge. But I mean, as you know, you've seen Hooker fights. Like he's not terrible on the ground, and obviously on the top, he's really great. I mean, his ground and pound is like no other. But he can do submissions from the bottom. He can do stuff from there, but it's definitely not the level of Michael Chandler, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so I'm still leaning Hooker here, but like it's one of those fights where I think the main thing is Michael Chandler really able to take him down successfully, right?
If he lets Hooker stand for too long, it just takes one sniper strike to sleep him, and that's it.
Yeah.
And Dan Hooker is more than capable of that. So it's a crazy matchup, an interesting matchup. Yeah. Really excited to see how it plays out.
I completely agree, and especially too, like, I mean, we watched the Poirier Hooker fight a couple times too, and it's such good fighters, such a great fight, probably one of the best fights of all time, and so this guy can bang, this guy can hit hard. I mean, I haven't seen a ton of Chandler. I mean, I'm not watching a ton of Bellator, but I've seen some of his stuff, and he's no joke either. But yeah, I mean, just from what I see, I think there is the opportunity for that knockout for Hooker, maybe leading into some ground pound, like TKO kind of deal, like catches him with like an uppercut or catches him some way coming in for a takedown and kind of takes advantage of it. But like I think you were saying to me earlier, like Chandler's smart. Mm-hmm. He can definitely make this fight his if he wants to. So it's
yeah. I don't think there's any reason for him to chance it and try to beat Dan Hooker at striking.
Yeah.
Because not many people can.
No.
In the whole UFC.
No, I think there's maybe only a few people in that list. Period. I mean, trying to think of names off the top of my head, like almost nobody.
He's done sparring with Izzy. He's fought the best people in lightweight. And Michael Chandler hasn't fought anyone in the UFC, but
yeah, and that's what I need to see too. I need to see that, and that's I think part of the reason I'm leaning Hooker here is I need to see that. But like, would I be like blown away if Michael Chandler like grinds him out and just keeps him on the ground for 3 rounds and gets a decision victory? Like, I would not be surprised at all. I just think this is gonna be a really, really good fight. It's definitely gonna be fight of the night potential for sure. I mean, this or the next one is gonna be the fight of the night. I mean, how can you not? This card is so good. But you're going Chandler. I'm going Hooker. Both agreeing though. These are two really good fighters. It's just gonna be a crazy one. But either way you go, someone is moving up those ranks and probably getting a title shot. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. Whatever happens.
Absolutely.
So we finally made it. Here we are. The main event of the evening. Something that has been teased since how long has it been getting teased? Since like October. September, forever.
I don't even remember.
They were supposed to do the weird that charity fight.
The charity thing. So that got announced, I think, on the Adesanya Costa card, which was October.
Yeah.
So
3 months.
Here we are.
Never thought it would happen. 6 years in the making. Obviously, Conor McGregor, right? Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, both legends in the lightweight division. Conor McGregor, legends in multiple divisions, former dual weight champion, all this sort of crazy stuff, fought Mayweather, everything. Um,
Yep.
he's coming in.
Showed up to Abu Dhabi in his Lamborghini yacht.
What? I didn't see that. Are you kidding?
Nope, I'm not
Oh yeah.
kidding.
Oh god, yeah. I'm not surprised. But I just didn't know they made those. I mean, showing up in a yacht, like, yeah, but Lamborghini yacht. But what are you talking? That's a Lamborghini yacht. You're not surprised though. Not surprised. Both these guys are phenomenal. They have neither of them have hardly ever lost, and they fought the best people in probably the whole sport. McGregor's coming in 22-4. Poirier's 26-6-1, no contest. We're looking at the lines here. It's a pretty big skew. McGregor's coming in at -310, and Poirier's coming in at +250. I mean, this is 6 years in the making. Fight of the ages. Who do you got, man?
I hate to say it, but I got notorious McGregor on this one. I'm just scared of the guy. I just don't know what he's capable of. He talks a big game, and he's backed it up before, and I wouldn't be surprised if he backs it up again.
I couldn't agree more. McGregor is one of those guys. I think you look at Tom Brady's, you look at Michael Jordan's, you look at Wayne Gretzky's. Those guys just have a mentality to win. They just have this winning mentality, and like somehow, some way, that just like pushes them to just be the best. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the biggest Conor McGregor fan of all time. If anything, I'm a huge Dustin Poirier fan. But like, there is something about these guys, like Conor McGregor, like Floyd Mayweather, all these dudes, that they have this little something special to them that you just can't count them out just because of this like almost like X factor that they have. In terms of like tangibles though, in terms of like raw stuff, yeah, I mean I'm going McGregor, and I just think his striking ability, his counter punching and kicks, like his ability to really sort of control the fight by like that yin yang kind of deal, like the water stuff where it's like, oh, you come to me, I come to you, and you just let them kind of go and exert energy, but you're coming with this crazy power. Like their first fight, obviously 6 years ago, things have changed. They're both better. Knocked him out easily with the counter punch. We made it look really easy.
The guy has 19 knockouts.
Yeah.
Out of 22 wins.
Yeah.
It's just scary.
If it were anyone else except for Khabib, I'd be on Dustin Poirier's boat 100% of the time. Like, except for McGregor, except for Khabib. I mean, even Gaethje now after they fought that first time, and like just how Gaethje is now being better, I think I'd still go Poirier. I think I'd still go Poirier. He's so good. But neither of these guys lose, man. Neither of these guys lose. But they've lost to the same people. They both lost to Khabib. Obviously, Dustin Poirier has lost to McGregor. But they only lose to the best, and they are the best. And I think that in a way, this is maybe, obviously we saw that Khabib has said that maybe he'll come out and fight the next guy. Well, that's Charles Oliveira. Some people think that. I kind of think that McGregor coming back to this division is almost so that Khabib has him to come back to. He beats Dustin Poirier. He gets the #1 contender spot. Khabib comes and murks him. Makes him no more. Like maybe that's intentional. Maybe Dana White's doing some sneaky stuff. Obviously not that Dustin Poirier is like 100% out of it, but it may be set up so that there is an advantage to McGregor, and obviously the line I think kind of shows that there is definitely an advantage to McGregor here, and I think you and I both agree on that.
Yeah. That being said, I think Dustin Poirier is a solid bet here. I think that this line is wrong. I mean, you just said they're the best of the best. They don't lose to just anybody. They lose to the best.
Yeah, they only.
And so how do you place a value on two people of that caliber? I think for Poirier to be plus 220 is insane.
Yeah, 250.
I mean, like it's 250. It's even more insane. That's
yeah. Go ahead.
And another interesting thing, Conor McGregor's 4 losses have been all submissions. Dustin Poirier has a strong submission game. Not saying it's going to be easier for him to do that to Conor, but he's versatile. He's got great cardio.
Yeah.
I think he can outpace Conor, but he can get counterpunch knocked out really easily.
Head kick or something.
So it's just I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah, this is one of those fights where it's like you want to bet with your heart, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't do
Yeah,
it. But I do
yeah,
agree with you with that. I think this line is definitely not what it should be. It's definitely there's a lot. I think the biggest thing is obviously McGregor fanboys, right? They're gonna skew this thing.
yeah.
I feel like that he's probably one of the most followed sports people ever in anything. So like there's so much of that, but it's also that how badly he beat Poirier 6 years ago. But it's
Hmm.
like that was 6 years ago. Like Dustin Poirier and McGregor were like so they're 32 now, so they'd be what is that 26? Like they're
Yeah.
young, man. Like now they're in their prime, maybe coming out of their prime a little bit, but in that prime sort of time, you know. So they're
Hmm.
just both extremely different fighters now. So I think that's a combination of those two things is what's weighing it in. I think the line should be closer here. I'm definitely still confident McGregor on this one, but I think that that sub prop could be
Hmm.
interesting because I mean yeah McGregor's only lost
Could
by
be
sub right because
interesting.
Habib
Yep.
who else?
Beeb
Diaz
Diaz. Um, he's also lost to two nobodies before the
right
UFC. One of them was a arm triangle. The other one was a knee bar.
yeah
So all sorts of
I wonder why that is like
submissions.
specifically 'cause it's so I always like thought about that myself like why is it like only submission because like I was looking at his stats here and his takedown defense is like 70%. It's not like bad, like it's not bad at all. I mean it's not the best or whatever, but it's not bad. So it's interesting. Like I mean, he's training and he's doing stuff. Obviously with Habib, right? I mean, he'll sub anyone, right? He'll lose to
Yeah.
anyone. But it is interesting. I think you're right. I think if Poirier does win this, I think obviously he's got to finish it. And I think yeah, his best path to victory is on the ground, and it has to be like
Mhm.
stand and bang with Conor McGregor. I don't know. Maybe
I
towards the end
don't
of the
advise
fight,
it.
like if it somehow got to like rounds 4 and 5, and obviously I think Poirier's got the cardio advantage over McGregor.
Hmm.
My prediction though is I think McGregor like second round KO. Probably
Yeah.
probably with like the head kick or probably with like some nasty like overhand or maybe even I don't know like a knee, who knows? But something. Like I think that's where it's going. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if this fight does like if we're watching this fight and we're in round three, in the middle of that, I would immediately be leaning Poirier just because that cardio, just
Yeah.
because that cardio, man.
Yeah.
Like I said that yeah
I if McGregor doesn't win, I think it's a decision Poirier win.
decision Poirier.
If Conor isn't able to finish him for whatever reason, I think yeah, Poirier decision. But I don't know that Poirier can make it.
Yeah, I don't know. I uh I I'm not confident in I have to say McGregor
Neither
is
am
one of
I.
my most confident uh, predictions of the card. Not my number one. Not my number one. Like I said, these are two of the best guys. Like there's in fighting, everyone kind of. I mean, there's always a chance. Even if the dudes like we saw last week, even the dudes who are minus 300, minus 400, minus 500, whatever it may be. Like that's just the line. Like the line is going to give you some idea. Like obviously how people are betting, like how it's getting started off, like how it's all working. But it's two guys, two girls sometimes in a cage, and they're gonna do everything that they can to win. Obviously, skill set's gonna make a difference there. Fluke situations make a difference, but it's craziness, right? So yeah, I mean, bar craziness, McGregor, bar craziness,
Yep.
McGregor.
I'm hoping for a sick fight,
Yeah,
sick
yep.
card. I'm really excited.
As am I. I
Um,
mean, I'm looking
there's
through.
money to be
Yeah,
made.
gosh, it's so good. It's such a great card. And in terms of these picks, I feel like there's so many great fights that, like you said, money to be made. There's so many fights
Hmm.
here where the lines are a little bit off. Where like there are some where it's like there's like no chance this person's going to lose unless those fluke type situations. So it's like there is some really good potential for money here, whether that's like on some prop bets, on some knockouts, on some subs.
Some good parlay
Yeah,
pieces.
absolutely.
You, yep.
There's some really good stuff here, but I mean that's the whole card. So made it through. That's the first one. So for anyone who's watching now, thank you so much for tuning in and hearing our predictions.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
We appreciate it so much. And yeah, I mean, and if you guys liked it, and obviously, if you guys want to continue watching us, make sure to hit like, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But until then, that's that. We're out of here. We'll see you at the fights.
Good luck, everybody.
Let's win some money.